About 8 or 9 years ago, my daughter and I went down to Guatemala, and we were invited to this small village, which is about an hour out of Quetzaltenango. And we were invited to visit 2 schools because our friends who invited us knew I was a teacher and I would be interested in seeing the schools. So we visited each school, and at each school it was so obvious that they were really caring teachers, eager students, a building, but the classrooms were basically devoid of anything. No balls, no educational equipment, and certainly no books. The method of teaching was largely a teacher writing things on the board and the students copying them down in a notebook. And after a couple of weeks of visiting these wonderful people and around Guatemala, when Bella and I came back, we asked ourselves, what could we do to help? Country like Guatemala has so much need compared to where we are, and you really have to focus, and I think our focus came to books, because I think books engender literacy, and literacy is just a vehicle which really helps to lift people out of poverty and helps them dream beyond their small community. And then what we've done with that money, so we went fundraising, is then we buy the books from Follett International, which is the largest scholastic book company in the world. We deal with their Latin American division, a lovely guy who's been living in Mexico for 30 years and visits all the schools down there. And he advised us about the selection of books, fiction versus nonfiction, the different reading levels. And so we've been able to raise enough money to send books down, originally to 1 school. And then the next year we adopted a 2nd school. And in the end we have 10 schools within a district that services about 1,000 students. Each year we raise more money and we supplement the libraries with books. We do send a few other things, toothbrushes, toothpastes that are donated, pencils, pens, whiteboards. We've bought whiteboards for some of the schools. We've helped schools with a couple of their construction projects, so they actually have dedicated library space to put the books in, and they weren't just in cardboard boxes in the office. And I think there's a certain empathy for the fact that this is all for the schools, and it's all for the kids, and that everything has gotten down there safely. So we're really, really grateful. Any kind of fundraising that can be done, from bake sales, we've done garage sales, we've had events which were dances to raise money. So any kind of money raising activity really helps us. And if people have any access to books, we do send books only in Spanish. We don't send English books down. So Spanish or bilingual, they can donate the books, and we would love to send those down. And reading levels from board books for preschool students all the way to Isabel Allende or Harry Potter in Spanish. So, all ranges of books or donations. On subsequent visits, we have been going down once every couple of years. And it's obvious now and just delightful to see how much these books have changed the lives of the students and the teachers in these schools. They really were schools where most of these students had never, ever had a book to read before, nor had a parent read them a story. So I think that the exposure and the literacy boost that these books have given is pretty amazing. Something as simple as book collections have made a huge difference in the way the teachers can teach in the classroom. We've made some suggestions. We've sent some, classroom kind of planning down to help the teachers know how to use the books, different options. But the lives of each student, each of our 1,000 students in this district approximately, each life has really changed because of the opportunity to read a book every day. And they can read a storybook, they can read about being an astronaut, they can read about the stars or global warming or a soccer player that they're enamored with. But it's amazing how much books change lives and how much literacy changes lives. And I really do believe strongly that just the simple act of sending books down and creating libraries in these rural schools has made a huge difference to the community.
Este proyecto de gran bendición porque pues antes en la escuela donde yo laboro no contábamos con diferentes nombres de libros, no contábamos con una mini biblioteca, únicamente pues teníamos algunos libros que eran entregados por el Ministerio de Educación, pero ahora que este proyecto se dio en la escuela del barrio La Cereza, ahora pues gracias a Dios contamos con diferentes y muchos libros, ¿verdad?, que le dan la oportunidad al estudiante para poder así que tener una lectura más rápida y poder tener comprensión de lectura. Entonces esa es la razón por la cual este proyecto allá en la escuelita de barrio La Cereza está funcionando y creo que ha sido de beneficio para todos los alumnos.
La verdad que es una bendición, porque en primer lugar nuestras escuelas en San Carlos Hija o en Recuerdo a Barrios no contamos a veces con libros. Le voy a poner un ejemplo. Hace unos 15 o 20 años atrás eran escuelas que realmente solo recibíamos un libro del gobierno, pero realmente el niño o la niña no se interesa por leer un libro, ¿verdad? Y gracias a Dios, con la señora Ami Bon, hemos tenido esa oportunidad de donarnos una biblioteca. Realmente nosotros nos sentimos muy satisfechos. Es una gran ayuda que se está dando a nuestros centros educativos. Para mí es una satisfacción. Una, porque el niño aprende a llevar a tener el hábito de la lectura. Escoge libros, lo que él le gusta, ¿verdad? Porque yo me recuerdo que nosotros como maestros y docentes pedíamos un libro. Y el libro se llamaba Escuela para Todos. Pero el niño se aburre, ¿verdad? Se aburre. Pero gracias a Dios, con este proyecto que ella hizo, o con otros sus compañeras, el proyecto es una gran bendición.
So my daughter and I founded the Guatemala Book Project in 2010 after a trip to Guatemala. During that trip, we were invited to visit 2 elementary schools in a rural village. After visiting the schools, it was, evident to us that there were very committed teachers, super interested kids, yet the schools had nothing. We saw no books the whole time that we visited these 2 schools. We only send books in Spanish or bilingual books that are English and Spanish. So every time we go now and we see these books in the schools, it's evident what a difference they've made. And it's kind of amazing, something as simple as a book. We don't think a lot of having The Cat in the Hat to read, or The 3 Little Pigs, or one of Isabel Allende's books, the Treehouse books. But these kids have never had these books before, nor have they had nonfiction books. That's also a really important part of what we send, books on science, astronomy, ecology, books on sports. Of course, soccer is very, very big there. And so the boys in particular love to read about the soccer stars. So all those books about the geography and science are also very, very appreciated by the kids. Also by the teachers, who can now use as a teaching method having the kids do reports, choose books on a particular subject, read, collect information, and develop some sort of report in writing or giving an oral report to the class. And that's really a new method of learning there, because they never had books before. It was not a way the teachers could teach before. So it's really changed the methodology that the teachers are able to use in the classrooms as well. Prior to the libraries, so much of the learning was writing things on the board and asking the students to copy the words and the information down in little I would say, comic book quality notebooks. Some kids didn't even have those because they couldn't afford them. So this has been really big for the schools. It's been such an improvement to be able to have information in books that's readily available to the kids on subjects of their choice. So it feels really good to see that, and we hear from the administrators and the teachers that some of the kids are now winning prizes in reading and literacy prizes, and it's all because of the availability of these books now.